Nikki. Who is ready for some more end of the project goodness? I've got my coffee ready, aka Crafter Fuel. It is a gorgeous, beautiful, 40-degree, sunny, lovely, melty all the snow off the roof kind of day outside. I've got my window cracked just slightly because it smells like spring. And because of that intoxicating, lovely spring-like smell and stuff going on out there, we are going to do our end of the project and combine it kind of with what I'm going to call a Tracy Fox design team project. And because essentially everything here is Tracy Fox already. We've got wallpapers and our hearts. Those are all Tracy Fox kits. But I also pulled out, I have a file that I keep where when I get Tracy Fox stuff, I print a bunch off, and sometimes I just print the kits even though I don't have any way that I'm going to use it right away. And apparently sometimes I print them on cardstock and sometimes they're on plain paper, you know, because printing and me don't get along always. And so this is the full kit though of the, it's not that though. I believe they're called floral character trait florals. Anyway, it'll be below. I'll link it in the description box, as well as the grungy hearts and wallpapers and stuff. So I pulled these out because what I thought was it smells fantastic and it's springy and we're finally coming out of that super deep freeze. So what I want to do is kind of make myself a little banner like I've made in the past. Now, way back, deep, you gotta go deep cuts for this one. It's a couple of years ago probably on my YouTube. I don't remember if I actually did a video or if I just showed it. I don't think I put them together online. I don't know. Well, I maybe did, craft along. Anyway, I made a super cool fall tag banner out of Tag Bunting with a bunch of Tracy Fox's kits. And I will insert here a short clip of video of where it's hanging in my studio over there. I'll insert that right here. Here is the fall banner that I made many moons ago. Oops, stepping on stuff. So it just hangs on my, I have this short little window, so it hangs on there. That is where we're gonna put the new spring one. Okay, so you can see it's super cool and textural, and it fits perfectly right in that spot in my new studio here, right under my window, and that's lovely. But it's fall, and while I would love to live in a state of perpetual fall, it's just not possible. So it's time for the fall decoration after a long winter and everything to finally come down, and in its place go something beautiful and happy and springy. So we're gonna make that. And I looked at this pile of stuff and thought, this is perfect fodder for collaging and making those tags for our spring banner. So I'm not sure if we'll be able to get this done in one video, or if I'll just get most of it done. Whew, big truck. And then, you know, do the rest off camera. But let's review what I have left over quickly. I've got a bunch of hearts. Whoops, goodness. Fingers are already failing me, guys. Okay, I've got a lot of the big hearts. So I don't know, I've got maybe 10 of the big hearts. I've got one of the tiny baby hearts and a couple of the regular size hearts here, 2 of the small ones and 1 of the tiny ones. Hold on, someone's at the door. All right, that was just my dad dropping off my, that was just Dad dropping off my lesson for our release time tomorrow. Okay, I just ran. Let me. Okay, yeah. coffee settle back in. But it did give me a chance to go stand out on the sidewalk and chat with them for a minute, and I'm not gonna lie, that sunshine, man, the vitamin D, I can feel it, little bits of it starting to come back. Anyway, so I've got my Tracy Fox file that I pulled these out of, and we're gonna slice those up and use them. And then I also brought this paper pad out. It is literally just like textured cardstock. It has kind of a cool feel to it. You can hear, right? And there's a bunch of just beautiful neutral colors in here. So I figure, oh, we were reviewing. That's what we were doing. I'm like, what was I doing before I left, you guys? Okay, we had hearts. We have some tags. We have 2 tags that are not decorated and one that is all decorated. We've got a handful of the baby hearts. Can you see them that I punched? And some of them are hiding. And then I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these wallpaper samples that I backed with paper and sewed around. So I've got those. I've got a few little, you know, cut-offs here. I've got some lace bits and this piece that we used from the fabric collage that I cut the heart out of. So we can use those. Some more little cut-off bits. A little, look at this. I must have made this little banner at some point and didn't ever use it though. So that's super cute. We can put that on there. I honestly don't even remember making that. And then I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I only have 4 of the wallpaper samples left, which is good. That means I used a lot of them up in the project. Okay, so without further ado, let's get down to some business. Let's pick, so spring. So I'm trying to think, do I want to like actually put the words spring on there, or do I just want to decorate? I just kind of want to decorate, because if it says spring, then I'll feel like it has to come down. And obviously I left my autumn one up there until, you know, let's see. Let's go with maybe this peachy color. We're gonna do, let's do 6, and let's do them all different colors. And now generally the rule of my end of the project is to not bring out more new supplies and use up the supplies that there was a pink, there we go, that use up the supplies that I had. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, one more. But however, these kinds of papers I will use over and over again. Should we do a lighter green too? Yeah. Okay. Oh, that's gonna be cute. I can feel it already. Okay, these are the kind of paper scraps that I don't mind having, because these, you know, this stuff works so great for just putting on back of tags and stuff. Oh, I also brought over my tray of goody nonsense. This is like all kinds of randomness. So I threw that on my desk as well. But now I need to clear space so I can bring up my cutter. I'm not going to open her up all the way right now. Well, maybe I need to. I think I need to. Now let's see if I can give you guys all a little better view here of what I'm about to do. All right, so let's decide. I think the other ones were like 4 inch. We're just cutting some big wide tags basically, like you saw in that other bunting. So I think they were like 4 inches. Let's see, what does 4 inches look like? Yeah, I think they were like 4 by 7 or something like that. We're going to go bigger. No, 4 is enough. Or 4.5. Nope, 4 is enough. Yep, welcome to my indecisive life. Okay, that was 4 inches. And let's go 4 by 6. Yep. So 4 by 6. Tag number 1. Then, since I know what I'm doing, I'm going to do a couple at a time here. by 6. And I'm going to do these last 3 together. 4. Oh my gosh, I love this paper cutter. By 6. So see, like, all right, and that's those 3. These things will work perfectly as, like, you know, the backing for journal cards and stuff like that. So I don't mind having these pieces of scrap. Plus, if you saw my recent video where I showed my scrappy books that I've been working on. I'll talk more about those maybe. Well, I might do a video on how I kind of process that. Okay, so here's our 6 things that we're going to snip the corners of and column tags. I am also going to, and I'll shut the camera off for this because you don't need to see me cut it out, but while I've got my paper cutter up on my desk, I'm going to go ahead and slice these pages apart because, you know, I try to limit my end of the project to an hour, but you know, sometimes things like this I kind of have to cheat on. I get to cheat. It's my challenge, so I get to cheat on it. If you want to cheat, go make up your own challenge. Anyway, I'll stop being dumb and I'll be back with a pile of cut up flowers. Okay, we've got our 3 piles of florals cut out. I didn't cut out the little words and stuff on the side because I don't think we'll use those. I just was going after the flowers more. Now, let's deal with these guys. I want to make them into actual tag shapes. Of course, you don't have to. You could make them into like triangle bunting like this, or the one that comes up like this. But I kind of like the idea, you know, since we're junk journalers, excuse me, I think I kind of like the idea of, you know, using tags. So I'm going to now use this to carefully, not carefully, cut these down. Okay, and then we're going to punch holes. So the different than a normal tag with just the one hole on top, we're going to punch 2 holes so that, you know, the ribbon or whatever we decide to use, it's like little confettis, can go in and out kind of through. So I'm going to get, oh my gosh, work with me here. What is, oh, okay, I'm gonna get hole protectors. I don't know what was like making it, my spinner wouldn't spin. Now I need my hole punch. But when you use these standard guys, the crocodile isn't quite big enough. So I've got my like super old school hole puncher. This is like, I think this was probably my mom's at some point. All right, and then I'm going to try and get them somewhat, you know, evenly spaced. Whoops, it helps if you hold it the right way. Actually, I know what I'm gonna do. One side is a little more textured. I want the textured side. I'm going to put these on this one because then I can visually see if I like. Right, that looks fairly evenly spaced. Yeah, I mean, once we start decorating it up, it won't even matter. And I normally, these are the paper ones, and normally I would go over it with some ink, but this is spring, so I don't know how much like super inking I want to do. Okay, now I'm going to use that as a template to punch these. Okay, and then we'll put protectors on those. And you definitely don't have to put hole protectors on if you don't have them or don't want to. Oh, goodness. But I kind of like the look of it. You know, by the time if you used a really like fluffy ribbon or, you know, sari silk or something to be your tie, then you know, might not even see, well, that one I just put on all wonky. But you might not even see these anyway, you know, depending on how you do it. But I like the look, and I bought a pack of these probably at the dollar store or Walmart. They're super cheap, and I have probably, you know, 200 of them or something. So I've got them to spare. That is to say, not all your supplies need to come from the expensive, you know, Hobby Lobby, or I think it's Hobby Craft is yours over in the UK, right? I don't know about you guys in like other parts of Europe or over in New Zealand or Australia. What's your store called? Here, you've probably heard myself and plenty of other crafters sing the praises of Hobby Lobby. Joanne and Michael's, those are our big ones here. Hobby Lobby being my absolute fave. You've probably also heard me say, if you've followed me for any amount of time, that, oh, that was Joy. You've heard me say that the girls and I have decided we could probably live inside a Hobby Lobby. She's got another game today, guys. It's game day. She's getting psyched. She's getting pumped. She's dancing. That's what she does. All right, and I'm gonna round the bottoms just because. While I'm doing this, let me just tell you, right outside my window, which is right over there, I have a really big bright window. It's lovely. I did, however, close it because now it's getting to the point where like school's gonna let out in a little bit, and then we'll hear the buses and everything. So I did close my window. But they did some road work earlier last fall, and now there's this huge hole, and everybody has to slow down to go like ka-thump, ka-thump through the hole, which means that I get a good view of every single person that comes driving by because they all slow down and they're right outside my window. All right, so we've got our tags. These are so stinking cheerful and fun already. The greens have to get separated here. There. And the pinks. Not that it, you know, I'm keeping them in this order by any means. What am I even doing? But I can't stop myself. Okay, stop. We're going in this order. It doesn't even matter. We'll string them later. Okay, so now we're just gonna start collaging these things up. I also have some book pages here because that's always a good thing. I've got, let's just go ahead and rip some of this off now. This is painter's paper. You've probably seen me and other people use it before. Here in the States, you can get it at like Home Depot. Well, I think you can even get it at Walmart. You can get it all over the place. I've got my glue. I do have my ink in case I decide that I just can't stop myself, but I'm going to try and not ink. The only thing I might ink, see, right as I say that, the only thing I might ink is the edges of these, but I'm not sure. I mean, those are inked already because they were already inked. Throwing my stuff around already. See, I'm already tweaking, you guys. This is what happens to me when I start thinking about a time frame. I'm like, I gotta craft right now. This is why I haven't done any of the other challenges. So why do I feel like I need to make my own challenge myself thing? I don't know. All right, so I'm literally going to start collaging. Now, as I do this, let me just say that probably one of the more common things I hear in our Facebook group, in comments, in messages to myself, from, you know, other people, from my subscribers, from people in my Etsy shop and stuff, is I just don't know where to start when it comes to collage. Like, I just don't know how to do collage right. And I always feel like I can't get it right or whatever. And I know I've also said this a bunch lately, but I've got a whole bunch of new subscribers now. Hello. Hello to all you new people. I'm so very, very, very glad that you're here. I'm very grateful that you're deciding to spend any amount of your precious time with me. That kind of floors me. But, you know, you've heard me say it before, and I will continue to say it. Sometimes you just have to get out of your head and start gluing crap to paper. And I know that sounds like a very not elegant way to put it. And I know that it sounds like, what kind of advice is that, Nikki? But honestly, like, sometimes you're going to end up with something you don't like. But then a lot of times you'll end up with something that you actually do like. I'm going to go ahead and just, I kind of am liking the way that looks. So I'm going to put, for the sake of consistency, to kind of tie them all together, I'm going to put a little bit of book page and a little bit of painter's paper on each page here. These aren't pages, these are tags. So back to collage. You're going to end up sometimes with something you don't like. But here's the nice thing about collage. You can, I mean, if it's like, just, if you really aren't feeling it, you can just chuck it out, and that is fine. Or you can cut little pieces of it apart, and maybe you like one piece of it and you cut that apart and you use it in a cluster, but you don't like the rest of it, and that's fine. You're not going to end up with some gorgeous masterboard that you love every single time, right? I certainly don't. There's a good chance that when we finally get this done, there's going to be one or two of these tags that I'm like, ugh, I should have done that different. And then I'll just hang it on my wall and look at it for the rest of my life and be reminded all the time. But seriously, you're not going to love them all. But as long as you kind of challenge yourself to not overthink it, to, you know, also start with just a few things. Don't pull out your entire scrap bin where you've got all kinds of things that don't necessarily match and go together, and then expect to be able to somehow make all of that work together. You know, that's a challenge for maybe a day where you're feeling a little more confident about collage. Start, you know, pull out things that match and that kind of go together, right? So you see I'm starting with pastel bases here. And this green paper, painter's paper, kind of goes with this pastel. And then I pulled out the flowers that went with this, and they're kind of springy. And then I've got my leftovers from the Heart Journal, and those all kind of go with this general look as well. So I'm setting myself up for success here by starting with stuff that I know will kind of work anyway. That's my first tip. Well, it's my second tip, really. Get out of your head is one of them as well. And then don't sweat the small stuff. If you're overthinking something, then just put it away. Don't overthink that. Go move on to something else. Don't get stuck, because then you get frustrated. And you don't want to do that. Crafting should be our happy place. So you don't want to get stuck. Ooh, I kind of like that chapter 11. Yeah, that'll work. You don't want to get stuck and frustrated. So if it's not working, then, you know, put those pieces down and try something else. Move on to something else. Don't get hung up on something. Definitely another thing, don't try to be somebody that you're not. That was tough for me because that was kind of a tough lesson for me at first, because I got into this whole junk journaling thing by seeing other people doing it. I kind of just ran across it by accident. And so I saw, where are the rest of my book pages? I thought I had a set of them up there. Oh, well, I've got whole book pages here, so I've always got a stack of book pages at the ready, guys. No worries. I at first ran into Nick the Booksmith. So if you don't know who she is, you know, she's pretty fantastic. She makes some amazing books. And then kind of through looking around a little more, I ran into Jibid Neri, who is like, you know, one of my heroes of the junk journaling world. I'm kind of almost glad that she doesn't post very frequently, because it makes me just savor the videos when she does post them. She's just brilliant and calm and peaceful, and I love everything about her work. Is brilliant. And I thought, at first, I set out on this journey where I thought I was going to be able to produce a Jibid Neri book or a Nick the Booksmith book, and quickly figured out that not only was that like not possible for me, but that's maybe not my style. So I kept comparing myself to that and thinking I was trying to reproduce a look that wasn't mine, you know? And while we all take lots of, like we all should be taking lots of inspiration from each other. That's why I put videos out in the first place. If I didn't want to have people not copy, I hate the word copy my ideas. I guess if I didn't want you guys to see what I was doing and maybe try to replicate some of that, then I shouldn't be putting out craft along videos, right? That would be the opposite of thing to be doing. So I think it's important that we watch other people's videos and take inspiration, come over to the Facebook group, look at what other women are doing, see what their work is over there in the group, go to, other groups and things, and look at what other people are doing, and then start pulling some pieces out and try to figure out what makes you happy, what makes you feel happy when you're crafting, and then don't, just keep trying to replicate that. Now, what makes me happy changes all the time. It's kind of a moving target, and I'll see something and get really inspired by it, and then I'll go down that rabbit hole. Which is kind of a fun way to do it too. You'll notice none of these are like brilliant, all I'm doing is tearing up some. This is almost the same copy or color. I mean, I'm just tearing up pieces and gluing them down. This is what I'm saying. You have to go through an ugly phase sometimes first. You have to go through a phase where you're like, this is not looking good so far. But in the end, you can just keep putting more stuff down. Anyway, don't try to be, don't get hung up in feeling like, or comparing. Maybe that's a better way to say it, because I'm not trying to say don't try to be them. Don't try to copy. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying don't get hung up in trying to, make your stuff look like somebody else's. It's not. It's yours. And that's the beauty of this kind of craft, is there's not one super acceptable way. That is something that I have definitely figured out since being in Facebook groups, is that there are as many different types of journals as there are people making them. Of course, we all like the nature and the floral and those sorts of stuff. But man, there are some creative people making some journals that are like themed for specific people and stuff. I would have never thought. Okay, so that's my chat. I hope that I'm inspiring you and I don't sound like I'm lecturing you. That's not at all what I'm trying to do. All right, so now let's look at, I want to look at these. Ooh, and they've got the little baby hearts all over them. What am I going to do with the baby hearts? I'm going to dump them over there for now. Okay, so I've got these that like are the cards that are already sewn around. Some of these are going to be a little too big, which that's fine. Those will go. But these, some of these, oh, okay, maybe only this one, because some of these are still too big. And that's just going to cover up most of what I just did. And because they're sewn around, although we could go. Also, I'm not trying to stay within the confines of the tag necessarily exactly. So we could do something like that on some of them. Although I feel like I don't have enough of that. So you know what? I'm going to set those aside since they're already sewn around. Those are definitely something I can use in the future. And let's use these wallpaper scraps here left over and collage some of that on some of these papers as well. And I'm gonna rip some pieces here. Okay. I'm going to rip the edge off this one. So we'll go ahead and glue some of these on as well. And then I feel like, oh, and we've got these little bits here. So maybe let's put some of these down as we go too. There. All right. Let's glue some of that down. Okay. So see, all I'm doing so far is just layering stuff up. And because I've got a bunch of stuff that is kind of matchy in the first place, it's fairly easy. All right, and let's get a little scrappy pinky do somewhere here. The one thing that I get stuck in sometimes is that I get, if I get to where I actually like a, you know, collage that I've done or something, like say I really liked that, then I'd be like having a really hard time wanting to cover any of that up. I'd go, oh, but I really like the way that that laid out. I don't want to cover it up with more hearts and stuff. Which, you know, that's fine too. You get to decide. Because it's yours, remember? It's yours. The rest of us are here to cheer you on, hopefully. Hopefully that's what everybody's doing. I know sometimes there gets to be negativity in here, but for the most part, I'd say I've seen very little of it. You all are lovely. People subscribed to this channel are pretty stinking awesome. Give yourselves a pat on the back right now. Say Nikki thinks I'm awesome. God thinks I'm awesomer. And when you get to the point in your collage where you're really not feeling it, you say, you know what? I'm a good crafter, no matter what I tell myself over and over again. And I used to say when I first started this, and I was in that place where I was trying to compare myself to other people and stuff. And I'd be like, man, this is just going to have to, I'm never going to make a book that is anybody's going to want. It's like I'm just gonna have to give everything to my mom and my grandma and stuff because they'll say everything is nice. Oh, honey, I love it. You know, I was like, I don't want to just only make things that I have to give to my mom and my grandma because they'll, you know, automatically feel like they have to say. I don't know how much of this stuff I have. I'll come back because I don't know how much. I want to get to the point where all of a sudden I don't have enough stuff. Yeah, so I didn't want to do that. I was like, I don't want to get to the point where I don't ever feel good enough about something. But sure enough, guys, practice makes better. Not perfect, but better. Now, after having just jumped into the deep end and crafted a whole lot of stuff, I like my things more often than not. And if you're not feeling it, you're not feeling good about it. That's another thing about the Facebook group. I know I sound like I'm trying to sell it, but honestly, being in some Facebook groups has really helped me. The lovely thing about that is you can go post something and say, you guys, what do you think about this? Should I put these buttons on here? You know, does this need something else? And you know what? People will respond with thoughtful advice. Those hearts are upside down. So people give each other nice advice, or they'll, you know, make you feel better about your work. If you don't see redeeming qualities in it, sometimes it's because you stared at it for too long and you're getting into that overthinking it trap again. Sometimes I've just had to put something down and walk away. I've had books, I think I still have a couple of books like in process, just signatures and stuff like that, that I finally just had to put down because I was trying to force something that just was not happening for me at the time. And that doesn't make me feel good, and it doesn't make me feel crafty or inspired. There, they work there. So sometimes you just gotta change paces. Okay. In the interest of time, I am going to go ahead and go through, I've got these scraps left, so I'm going to go through and finish kind of distributing them between my tags here, and then I'll be back. So I finished distributing all of those. Now, I have to apologize because almost as if on cue, right as I was talking about the giant lump out in the street, I'm not kidding, the minute I said I'm going to fast forward, this giant backhoe came with a bucket full of dirt, dumped it, and has now been scraping it across the hole for like the entire time. That he's still out there just scraping the dirt around, scraping it around, driving back and forth over it. Every time he goes backwards, I hope you can't hear it. Every time he goes backwards, it's going, Gotta love it. All right. Anyway. All right. So we've got I've got them all, you know, zhuzhed up here. Now, I think next step is to put some hearts onto the thingamajingers. Now, this has the potential to cover up quite a bit of our tags. However, like I said, that I am not trying to stay necessarily right on top of the tag. Oh. guys, so I have sewn around the edges of all of them, and I heard from several of you, I have heard over time that from subscribers that you guys are interested in like seeing how I sew, and that's, you know, because but I know a lot of other people do too, we always say, I'm gonna go sew around this and be right back. Part of that is because my sewing machine's over there, which I can just turn to, but then I have to adjust my camera, so it'd be hard to keep doing that, but also because it's noisy and you can't talk over your machine. But I do understand that that is something that several of you are interested in seeing. So that said, I intend to do a video in the very near future here of me showing you how I sew. So watch for that. Okay, now what I'm going to do, guys, is I am just going to start throwing some hearts on here. And this is where I just start doing my thing. Like, start trying to figure out how I want them laid out. And then probably at least one flower on each one. But I could maybe fit two. Two is a little much. So I think we'll go with one flower, because I also want to maybe put some of those snippets, you know, I've got these little lace flowers and stuff. So let's put down some hearts and flowers on each one, and then we will, let's see, and then we'll work on getting the last little bits on. Okay, and then this heart, I kind of like just overlapping this one completely. And this blue flower, I think I like the blue flower kind of straight, because then, like I said, some little snippets and lace and stuff like that. So again, in the interest of time, I'm going to go ahead and go through each one of the tags and get some hearts and flowers on them. And I'll fast forward so you can watch me just do it faster and not listen to me jabber away. Guys, I have got all of them collaged with some hearts and some flowers. Now I have got all those little baby hearts, which I think I might have come up with an idea for, and these leftover hearts. I was thinking that as I string the thing together, I could put like hearts in between each one, like, you know, so. Or, I don't know. I was gonna say I could have hearts dangle from them. I think some of them I will have hearts dangle from, because I've got this handful of like little, come to me, baby hearts here, which I tell you what I'm gonna try, and we'll see how this goes. I've done it with bigger things like dots and stuff. I'm gonna see if I can sew these together into little like strings of 3 or 4, and if it works, I'll come back and show you. And if it doesn't, I probably won't have anything to show you, but I'm just gonna try. Okay, hold on. Okay, you guys, it totally worked, and I didn't think it would. This is what I did. So to describe to you what I did, I just put the first little heart right down on my feed dogs, right, the things that move your fabric along underneath, shut it down and sewed across it, and then just put another one right there, sewed across that, put another one, just kept kind of feeding them in there and doing a couple stitches in between them, and it made little chains of hearts. Now I've done it with like, you know, punched out dots and stuff for like, you know, little party decorations and stuff, but these are so cute. And now I was thinking, okay, so some of those could hang if we like glue the top one. They could hang off the edges of stuff. Oops. And they're gonna turn to the white side anyway sometimes, which is fine. But how cute to have some of these danglies kind of dangling off some of them. So I like that, and that used up all those little hearts. Then we'll come back. So I think I'm gonna do a second video, because this is probably enough to get them to this point here. And then I'll come back and we'll do a second video of like attaching these and putting some maybe fabric ruffle bits and pieces, and maybe figuring out what to do with the rest of these. And maybe it involves somehow some of these as well. So yeah, okay. So we'll leave it here for today, and then I'll just post part 2 tomorrow, and from wherever this one is. And we will see you back to finish this off. All right, thanks for hanging out with me today, though, and have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or middle of the night, whatever time it is, wherever you are on this big globe of ours that we all share. And until I see you guys again next time, take care, stay safe, stay healthy, be well, be crafty, have fun, peel and glue. And I will see you guys all again very soon. Take care, and God bless you. Bye-bye.